Okay, so now we try to start our speaking session in this evening. So there are two things that I will present today. So the first thing is that I want to talk a bit about the differences between the big cities and rural areas. So the next thing that I want to take a test in Luna.com and see my progress. Okay, so the first thing today, I have a short presentation about the topic related to cities and villages. Okay, so let me think up some ideas I need to talk about. Mm. So I think I will talk about I will talk about maybe four main difference between big cities and some rural areas. So the first thing is about the surroundings. So surroundings is like landscapes or scenery. And the second thing I want to mention is about the the transportation. Okay, so the next thing is about the something related to the day people life, and another one is the relationships. So I think as the part three and part four is maybe will be one because it's only talk about the people's life, right? So the first thing, let's talk about the surroundings. So I will take Ho Chi Minh City as an example for big cities and take my hometown, which is Gia Lai province, as an example for rural areas. So let's talk about the surroundings first. Okay, I will talk about Ho Chi Minh City first. Honestly, Ho Chi Minh City is one of the most hectic and vibrant cities in Vietnam, and it can be called metropolitan, yeah, metropolitan or mega city, or not really metropolitan, which is one of the most important cities in one country. So it's really metropolitan, right? So about the surroundings, we have a lot of things. So about houses, we can have detached house. So detached house is something like we have a land and we only construct a house here is for a while. So we can have detached house. We can have apartments. So I think as apartments are are very popular among many people in big cities because a scarcity of land and increasing number of population people. So we people many people or maybe investors don't have enough land to construct more houses. So they decided to convert into alternatives such as apartments. So apartments is also is apartments are also constructed in on an area of land, but we will have a lot of stories. So we can a story it, it also like floor. Okay, so story or floor is the same. So with a lot of story right, and many people can live there. So we can use that. The apartments are usually really high, big, and also provide a lot of facilities for citizens. So it's very mm, very convenient for everyone. who buy an apartment. Okay, okay. So, there are some things I want to talk about the apartments and the detached house. So, if we need to talk more specifically, the price for an apartment is a bit cheaper than that of a detached house because I'm not sure, but because we have of an area of land and we construct a lot of houses here, so it's maybe a bit cheaper. So I talk about detached house and the next is apartment, right? So we also have hotels. Yes, I think we have a lot in both rural areas and big cities. And we have also one thing is very important and also popular in big cities like Ho Chi Minh cities, especially some cities that have many universities. So it was hostel. So I'm not sure what it was, but when I studied that, I know that hostel is a kind of house used for student. So use of students in universities. So we can cause it. We can hostels, a kind of housing for students in universities. So honestly, the amenities in these hostels are not really good. But let's talk about the price. Price is very cheap because students can't make money make sorry they can't make much money from their part-time job or something like that. So hostels need to be cheap so that students can afford. But yes, so you understand that you will get what you pay. So you pay a really low price. So the amenities in hostels are not really good. And you need to live with many people at the same time. So, for example, my friend now is living in a hostel of Ho Chi Minh University of Information Technology, and he lived with with um, other three students. So live in hostels are sometimes very uncomfortable because you live with other people and they can disrupt you when you're studying, or their habits are not really fit you. So it's a lot of problems related to hostels. But for students and for some families that have mm, not really good financial situations, I think it will be very good for them to afford uh, an hostel for their kids, right? So it's about housings. So apart from houses, we also have skyscrapers. Those skyscrapers is the kind of a building that's really high. Okay, skyscrapers. It is very popular in Ho Chi Minh City. We also have convenience stores with many brands such as Winmark, Winmart, uh, mm, Circle K, or Lotte. Not sure whether Lotte, but we have a lot. And we also have uh, medicine store, also something like amusement amusement park where you go to every weekend to relax and blow off some steam. Yeah, and there are a lot of things I can think of, but I only tell a bit because we didn't have so much time. Okay, so it's about houses. Okay, so it is in big city like Ho Chi Minh City, right? So now I move on to my hometown, which is a rural area. So honestly, my province not is not really uh, rich. I'm not sure about the word, but I only say that I can say right now. So people in my hometown usually live in small flat or small detached house, and people usually live in extended families instead of nuclear families, or I will talk it later in this presentation. So we usually live in extended families, and we don't have any skyscrapers in my hometown, because I think that the financial situations of the province don't allow us to do that. And we also have hotels like big cities, and we also um, we don't have any hostels. Okay, so that's why I don't know anything to talk about my hometown, because honestly it doesn't have anything. And apart from houses, we also have a square, and it's very important in my hometown that every evening, especially at weekends, people usually go to the square in my hometown to drink coffee, have a short talk with their family members or their friends. And we also have restaurants. Okay, restaurants, I didn't mention, I have mentioned in the part of city. So restaurants. Um, so yes, that's all. We don't have amusements. We don't have amusements. Uh, Amusement park. We don't have convenience. We also have only one convenience store in my hometown. Medicine store, and yes, that's it. I don't have anything. Because honestly, Zalai province is a bit poor. So in especially in my district, we don't have anything. People living standard of people here is usually bad, and so I want that in the future we can improve that, and people will have a higher living standard. So it's about the surroundings, right? The surroundings. I only talk a bit. So the next thing, I forgot that. The next thing I want to talk to you is what? Uh, Let me remember what I want to talk to you with that. Um, so I talk about the transportation. Okay, transportation. So I talk a bit about the transportation. Mm, Ho Chi Minh City has a lot of means of transportation. People can use cars, can use their motorbikes, their bicycles, their use buses, or also trams or metros to commute every day. So we have a lot of things. And honestly, public transportations in big city like Ho Chi Minh City is very popular and well invested. So they serve people really well, and people I think are really satisfied about public transportation in big cities. And also, you can see in Ho Chi Minh City, we have a lot of roads with a lot of traffic lights, and you can, I think, as you need to practice and also go around these for a long time if you want to go anywhere that you want, but that you don't need to use the map. So, and okay, so compared to my hometown, we the roads in my hometown are not really it don't have we don't have so many roads, so it's very easy to travel around my hometown. Yeah, when I think as I can only go through only one road to go to my school, to go to convenience store, to go to a market or anything else. So it's much easier than in big city. So, but I found that a really interesting thing about policemen in big cities and in rural areas. Okay, so for example, in my hometown, Zalai province, policemen usually come from the military. Okay, so they go around. They usually use their motorbikes to go around the roads and stop commuters and track their certificates or something like that. Or sometimes they usually um, must construct or create a stop that they will sit in some places in on the roadside, and they will like, hey, come on here, boy. Like that. They will catch people and they will do something like that. Okay, I know about that word, but honestly, it's very popular in my hometown, and I just like that policemen do it every day, and it is a bit uncomfortable and unpleasant when sometimes in one day you will face a policeman for many times, and it's not really good, right? But in big cities like Ho Chi Minh City, policemen are not the most important forces when it comes to coordinating the traffic. So when I commute from my house to my school, I think that I don't see so many policemen here. Policemen only appear when they need to change something, they need to coordinate the traffic lights, and they usually appear when it comes to rush hour, from maybe 7 to 9 a.m. and also from 5 to 7 p.m. So they usually appear at the traffic lights and they do something with that so that they can coordinate the traffic. And this is the thing that they can do. And apart from them, we also have, not sure. So local people, local people that come from the authorities. So they usually go pour into the roads to coordinate. So they will coordinate the traffic, point out the place that people can go to, and do something like that. So it's not the same as my hometown. When police in my hometown, policemen do everything. But in big city, policemen usually do something with the traffic lights, or they appear when we have an accident. But I think that they need to. I think that the local people will play a more important role in when it comes to putting to the road and coordinate the traffic. Okay, so and in my in my rural area, in my hometown, we don't have any buses or metro or trams. The infrastructure here is a bit poor, so people usually use their private vehicles, such as bikes. Okay, bikes is most popular ones in my country, in my hometown. Also, some people will use cars, and some students or ideally will use bikes. Okay, so we can see the difference from a place with a lot of cars, bikes, and use public transportation is very common. And this place in rural area, we use private vehicles and we don't have any public transportation. Okay, so it's about public transportation. Let's talk a bit. Okay, so I think it's really nice thing about the life of people living in big cities and living in rural areas. So I want to focus on one point that I realized in through my experience. So this is only what I see and what I experienced. So for you, it might be not the same. So I only share my opinion about this one. So I talk about the relationships between people in big cities and in rural areas. So talk about my hometown first. So honestly, I I have a really wide network of people that I know in my hometown. And honestly, people in the same neighborhood usually spend a lot of time talked to other people in their neighborhood. So, for example, in my neighborhood, people usually after a busy day or a busy morning, in the afternoon or in the evening, people my neighbors usually go to another houses another house to talk something about their daily lives or about some stories that I know. Is it usually funny stories or only gossip about somebody's house? Okay, and I think it's really the community in my hometown is very hospitable and warm-hearted. They care about other people, and when one person in my neighborhood suffer from serious issues, or even if it's the only ailment. Okay, ailment is some kind of disease that is not really serious, like you got a fever or you have a runny nose. So is the ailment is it not the same as serious issues like cancers or diabetes? So it's not the same, right? So we have a lot of things when some people in some person in my sorry one person in my neighborhood suffer from only an ailment. Many people will visit their house and give them money or gifts, and also the wishes that they can recover as soon as possible. And I feel really satisfied and happy when I have a chance to live in such a community. But um okay, and I now okay, but in big cities like Ho Chi Minh City, I see the opposite. So, right now, I live here for 4 months, and I don't know any neighbors in my neighborhood. Honestly, it is really interesting and a bit humorous things about the city. I don't know anything. I don't know any of my neighbors here. So why that? Honestly, people in my hometown usually work on paddy fields, or they go to schools, or they will go to some places around the province to work, and they will come back a bit soon, maybe middle afternoon or something like that. So they will have a lot of time to talk to their neighbors. But on the contrary, I have to say that in big cities like Ho Chi Minh cities, people need to work at companies, or I think as people or most people are workers, so they need to go to their offices, their companies or their factories to work every day, and they only get home when it is about 5 or 7 p.m. So when they get home, they feel exhausted, they feel mentally and physically drained. So they don't want to do anything with their neighbors, or they only have dinner, and they call it a day. Okay, call it a day is something like sleep. Okay, so instead of you say, okay, I go to sleep right now, or you can I call it a day right now. Call it a day. Call it a day. Okay, so it's the people usually do that, and it's like a cycle. Every day people go to work really early, and then they come home really late, and they have dinner. They do something for themselves, and they do some recreational activities like read books or listen to music or watch some things, and then they go and they call it a day. Nothing happened. They don't have time to talk to their neighbors. But on the opposite hand, people in my hometown usually go to home really early, and they have time to go around the neighborhoods to talk with other people. So we can talk a lot, and the relationships between members in my community is really good. How to say that? So that's why I spent when I was in my hometown a few months ago. Even if I study all day, I usually have time, or I will find some people in my neighbors visit my house, and I will have a chance to talk to them. But in big cities right now, they never go to my house, and I never go to their house. So that's why we didn't have a chance to talk to each other. So this is why we don't have anything to talk about or have a chance to strengthen our relationships. So okay, sorry, I talk a bit fast in this part. Okay, so it's about our relationships between family. Sorry, the neighbors. So it's a really bad, and I think as people can see it, a lot of places in big cities, a lot of neighborhoods with people that don't know anything about their neighbors. Okay, so is it not really good, right? It can undermine relationships mm, between many people. So I think yes, it is a bad thing. So let's talk about the finally things that I want to talk today, because my presentation is a bit longer than I expected. So the finally thing is will be my feeling about living in hometown and living in big cities. So I what which I prefer, living in Ho Chi Minh City or living in my hometown. So honestly, if I had the chance, if I have a chance to do both, okay, so sorry, if I only have a chance to choose one of two places to live for my whole life, I would definitely choose live in my hometown. There are many reasons. Okay, so I can get stuck. Many people can get stuck like me when they first experienced something related to big city. So for me, when I go first go to Ho Chi Minh City, everything was very interesting. I went to cinema, I went to supermarket, I went to convenience store. I saw something that I never saw before. So it was really interesting for me, and I feel like I had a chance to broaden my horizons. I saw something new. So it's like I wanted to live in this city for a long time. But honestly, when when I live here for 4 months, I can experience everything. So most places are not interesting like it was in the first time. So okay. So in big cities, we can have a lot of recreational activities and recreational places such as parks, museums, supermarkets, cinemas, or stadiums. So we can go to the places to to relax or unwind, right? And but in so it can make me really happy and delighted when I live in the city. But honestly, what I don't satisfy about the city is that the community relationships. So I only stay at home. I am an introverted person that I don't like to talk to other people, especially strangers. So and people in in my neighborhood right now is only the same. So they didn't go to other house, and I feel like I only have myself to talk to. So, but in my neighborhood, I can talk to a lot of people, especially the elderly in in my hometown, in my neighborhood. And people usually ask me something about my studies, about my life, about my relationships, or how I work, everything about me. And I think it's really good, and it's make me feel like a sense of belonging to a community. So it's the first thing is the that uh, the my hometown outweighs big cities like Ho Chi Minh cities. The next thing is the pace of life. So in big cities, you can earn a lot of money. You can get a well-paid job, and you can get a lot of money. You can get about for some people they can get about 20, or even for some people get 50 million dollars a day, dollars a month. And for some people, it's maybe even 80 million, man, is a much higher than in my hometown where people we only have about 5 or 10 million dollars a month. So, but the living costs, the living expenses, the daily expenses that you need to afford in big cities is much higher than those of rural areas. So you can save money really well with a well-paid job, but you also need to spend a lot of money. So it is not really good for you. But the last okay, sorry, people can get really a lot of money, right? But they need to work for a long time. They don't have time to do something for themselves. But in my hometown, people can work like that. They can also work at the same time, but they also have time. They don't work so late, and they have time to do other thing, even if they are not really rich, but they have a fine lifestyle, a fine house, and a fine life. So I think that is the better than in big city. So that's all the kind of thing I want to talk about today. So we finished our presentation about big cities and rural areas. So the next part of this presentation is a test. Okay, in this evening, in this afternoon, I tried to fix all questions in part three that I did yesterday. So now we have a new test, and I was after doing this test, I was try to fix part one and part two, and okay, I have some problem with my neck, so I feel I get hurt in when I try to change my posture. Ugh. Okay, I highly recommend. To be honest, I think talk to myself sometimes is a bit boring because I only talk and then nobody responds to me. But honestly, is it the best way that I can speak. So I don't have many people that I can speak to. The first reason is that they have so much work to do every day. They have their family, they have their work, they have their relationships. So I can't ask or force them to serve me like an opponent in a conversation with me. So I didn't have so much chance to talk to other people in English. So I do that way. And another reason is that the way I talk is not really mm, comfortable for many people. So for many people, they work or they studies, and I studies for the IELTS test. So my vocabulary or my grammar is not really popular or familiar with them, so they can't understand. Sometimes they can't understand me, and it can undermine the conversation, right? So talk to myself. Maybe it's the best way. Sometimes I ask myself, do you feel boring? Do you feel bored when you only talk to yourself? Honestly, nothing, because I can't do anything. Like I can't do anything else. I need to. I can't do anything else. If I want to strike up a conversation and I have a long conversation with both much mutual understanding, I need to face a people that I have the same level, or people with a higher level than me, or they can understand. They work for a long time, or they listen to English. They work with English for a long time, so they can understand me. But to be honest, mm, I think as many people can't see some people like that. So I highly recommend you, and my cousin also recommend me that I need to speak to myself every day. So this is why I did a lot. I do a lot. Mm, Maybe in a week I will deliver about 2 to 5 topics that I know, but I didn't record, so I can't post them on this channel. So it's a it's a bit boring when you need to talk about myself, but it's the only way that you can improve yourself. Talk about yourself just like there's an opponent facing you, so you can be clear, be comfortable, and be smooth, confident to deliver your information. Okay, so we have a test right now. This is 9 p.m. and somebody will. Okay, so today's I was so late. I was so lazy. I spent most of my time entertaining myself. So I study a bit late. So I have a lot of work I haven't finished. Ah, so today's I will need to do a new test and fix part two and part one and part two. Okay, part one and part two. Okay. Mm, okay. So we take a test before that. I need to read some words and some phrases. Okay, so I will show you some idiomatic phrases or idiomatic word or something like that, and you can use every you can use in your daily conversations. So, for example, we have that BC that I study that. Okay, so instead of you say go to sleep, you can say I call it a day. So I think it could be very natural in daily conversations. And besides that, we also can say that instead of, I think as many people will know about the idiom that is burn the midnight oil. Okay, burn the midnight oil. So many people will know about this idiom, but it is a bit outdated. Okay, you can use it in daily activities, but in daily conversations, you can use another idiomatic phrase to replace this idiom. So you can say that instead of say, I burn the midnight oil so that I can finish as much as many assignments as possible so that I can become better over time. So we can say, I try to pull an all-nighter. Okay, pull, Pull, an all, all, nighter. Okay, night, and you can see er. So pull an all-nighter so that I can finish as many assignments as possible so that I can become better over time. So okay, can like that. So we also have another idiomatic phrase that I learned yesterday. Oh, okay, 2 days ago. Like, so I will ask you, do you want to study anything else apart from your apart from subjects in your University. Okay, so for some people, they are so busy they can say, sorry, I think as I have my hands full with my studies in school, so I don't have any time to learn new things such as uh, take up sorry, start a new habit or do something interesting. So you can have my hands full. So have my hands full with something that you have need to do, we need to do some things, and you so busy with this thing that you don't have time for other other activities. So easy, you have my hands, you have your hands full with something. I learned it my hands with academic performance implement. Okay. Mm, okay.
Hi, I'm Apollo. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Hi, I'm Apollo. Are you ready? Now, I would like to ask you some questions about yourself. Do you usually have a busy schedule?
Yes, of course, I have a really busy schedule every day because I am studying for the IELTS test. So I need to make use of all the time I have to study and practice my speaking skills, my reading skills. And honestly, sometimes I also have to uh, burn the midnight oil so that I can have more time to finish as many assignments as possible and become better over time. Okay, it is good.
What kinds of things keep you busy during the day?
I have to say that my lives are around my study. So I study a lot of subjects from English, physics to math in university, and I also spend extra time studying English, like speaking skills and reading skills at home. And honestly, I have my hands full with these activities that I don't have time for other activities like entertaining myself or do something for my families.
Are there particular times when you feel especially busy?
Yes, of course, it happened last year. At a time, I was studying for the final exam, which is one of the most popular and important examinations for high school students. And honestly, at a time, I was studying all day, and I also pulled an all-nighter so that I can finish a bunch of assignments that my teachers gave me. And honestly, that time was very busy and exhausted.
Compared to your childhood, do you think you are busier now?
Yes, actually, because when I was a kid, I didn't need to care about other things. So I was very innocent. I spent most of my time playing with my neighbors or playing with myself with my toys and watching TVs, and it was really peace and very comfortable. But right now, I have a lot of responsibilities from studying at my university and studying at home and also doing something for my family every day. So it is much busier than when I was a kid.
Do you usually take your mobile phone with you when going out?
Yes, I think it become my habit because the phones now are really important for daily activities. When when I go out, I usually carry my phone so that I can take cashless payments in convenience stores or supermarkets, or I can use my phone to call my family members when I face some difficulties with my vehicles or something like that. So I can't uh, think of a single day living without phones. So phones have become an indispensable part of my life.
What essential things do you usually bring with you?
And honestly, there are many things that I need to bring with me every day when I go out or when I go to some places, like my ID card or my bank card. But honestly, the phones now are really convenient that I can integrate these cards in my phone, so it will reduce the needs for carrying such cars when I go out. So I think my life is much more convenient.
How often do you use cash when you are outside?
Honestly, I hardly ever use cash to make a payment because now the phones are very convenient, and thanks to the technological developments, people now can use their phones to make payments, which is more convenient and less time consuming. They only need to scan the QR code and they can finish their payments as ease.
Do you sometimes bring food or snacks with you?
Um, I I think I never do that because I am not a foodie. So I don't like carrying foods like snacks or beverage with me when I go to my schools or when I travel on public transportation. So honestly, if I want, it's very convenient and easy that I can go to a convenience store near my house and buy something. So yes, okay.
Now, I am going to give you a topic, and you will talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Remember to take notes. Please start speaking now.
I'm going to talk about Kenshi Zonezu. So, Kenshi Zonezu is one of the most famous singers in Japan. And honestly, he is so famous and popular that he has a lot of social media platforms such as Facebook or TikTok with millions of followers and also subscribers. So I first knew about Kenshi Zonezu 4 years ago. At the time, I was growing on a social media platform called Facebook, and because I want to relax and recharge my batteries after a busy day, so I tried to listen to music. And honestly, I came across a really interesting video of Kenty Yonezu, and its video was a song called Lemon. So when I listened to this song, I was surprised and interested because the melodies and the lyrics, sorry, real lyrics are really good, and it catch my attention right away when I listened to the first sentence. So from that day, I became a fan of Kenshi Zonizu. So Kenshi Zonizu has a lot of songs related to many genres, from J-pop to romantic songs or songs that show patriotism of Japanese. So honestly, when I listen to his songs, the songs usually bring me a sense of peace and comfort that help me recharge my batteries and blow up some steam after a busy day. So, if I had to talk about a singer whose music or songs I like, it will have to be Kenshi Zunizu. Okay, okay, let's try this. For this,
Earlier, we talked about describe a singer whose music songs you like. Now, I will ask you some more questions related to this topic. What should the government do to help people with musical talent?
from my point of view, there are many things that the government can do to help people with musical talent. So, for example, they can invest more money in universities or institutions that teach or practice music, so that students or children that have an innate talent for music can go to these places to show their abilities. Besides that, I also think that they need to raise people awareness about the importance of music and also encourage people to show their abilities when they can. Okay.
Can anyone learn how to sing?
From my point of view, I think that it really depends on the kind of songs that you want to sing. So, for many people, they have an innate talent for singing or playing instruments, so they can sing any kind of songs that they want. But for some people, like me, that don't have the talent for singing, I have a limited range of songs that I can sing. So it really depends on the kind of songs that you can.
Why do some people like to listen to live music while others prefer CD?
Mm, I think that it depends on people's preferences. So for some people, they love these atmospheres in live stadiums or stage, so they want to go to some places to listen to their idols or their favorite musicians, and it can help them relax and unwind. But for some people who prefer convenience, they can use CDs because they can listen to CDs for a long time and they can stay at home, like like on their bed and listen to songs for a long time. And okay,
Do Vietnamese parents require their children to learn to play musical instruments?
um, from my experience, I don't think that Vietnamese parents require their children to learn to play musical instruments. In my country, many parents usually consider academic performance important, so many people will force their children to study some subjects like math, physics, or chemistry. So, some extra activities like playing musical instruments or playing sports are usually ignored. So, I think it is not really a good development in my country.
How can the government raise awareness about music's importance?
Actually, they can do many things to raise people's awareness about the importance of playing or knowing about musical instruments or singing. So the first one is to organize some informative presentations about the benefits of music, such as helping people relax or blowing up some steam after a busy day. Besides that, they can also integrate many music lessons in daily classes so that students and children can get exposed to music at an early age.
Why do you believe innate talent matters in learning to sing?
I find this question quite hard to answer because I don't know much about this topic, but I guess that the innate talent will allow people to sing whatever they want. So, for example, many people have innate talent for singing. So, their tongue and their mouth are very smooth or flexible, so they can sing very well. But for some people, their tone or their breath are not really good, so it can discourage them from singing.
How does the atmosphere of live music affect people's enjoyment?
From my point of view, the atmosphere of live music can have a substantial effect on people's enjoyment. So, for example, they can help people get involved in the stages or the songs that their favorite musicians sing, so they can feel more satisfied and excited. They feel like they they were a person that you know integrate and feel the the sentences or the lyrics from their of their favorite musicians. So it were a really exciting and funny feeling or experience.
Why do you think academic performance overshadows music education in Vietnam?
I think that it comes from the priority of many parents right now. If their children want to have a well-paid jobs in the future, they need to be good at studying. They need to have good academic performance, and they need be to be really good at at many subjects as possible. So many people in my country usually force their children to focus on academic subjects, and so children don't have time for other activities. So I think it can sometimes under my family relationships or make their children exhausted or mentally and physically drained. Okay, that's the first time I get a topic that not really familiar with, but I can deal with so well because I'm not sure. But today I like my brain is really good, so I think that I can get at least 7 for this one. I hope that. Oh my god! My pronunciation. What the hell? Really? Oh my pronunciation. What kind of thing? Oh, really? My pronunciation is so bad that I can get higher. I only get 6 for pronunciation. Okay, so a good thing here is that my fluency is usually 7, 7, 7, or sometimes 6 or 7 or even 9 for in some cases. But the fact is my pronunciation is the seat is very good. Okay, so if maybe some people will be mistaken about the shit. So if you say this good, the food is the seat, you say that this food is excellent and delicious. Okay, so we finished this one. So I need to fix part one and part two first. So is that enough for today?